Peace, family, and welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Brother Rich, and I'm joined once again with the living legend, Professor Griff. Welcome back, brother.
Oh, give thanks, and it's glad to be back, good brother. In spite of everything that's going on, with Bambaataa, with Prince, with music industry, and just with black people in general. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm definitely, having these conversations, dealing with the music industry and dealing with music, you're the perfect person to have it with, considering all the experience you have behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, with, music, making music, producing music, contracts, what goes on at these labels and so on and so forth. There's just been so much talk. As everybody know by now, the legendary musician Prince made the transition at the age of 57. He was found in an elevator at Paisley Park, and he was pronounced dead on the scene at 10:07 in the morning. Some people like to know the certain times and stuff like that, so just want to tell those people out there. He was pronounced dead on the scene at 10:07. But, people may say, why do we continue to talk about music? A lot of people, Griff, people say music is the highest form of consciousness. They say music is the highest form of spirituality. When words you can't express yourself with words, music does the job. So music has the way where the biggest racist, this a white guy can hate niggas, or he say he hate niggas to the core of his heart. But if he hears a song by a black person, he may, he'll put that racism to the side for that 3 minutes the song is on and jam out to that black song, and it just does so many things. I seen the way women react to male singers who could sing, and they're able to make the woman melt. So there's something music does to our soul that makes us just so drawn to music. So it's real important to have these conversations because we are a musical people, Professor Griff. But I'm going to tell you what, Professor Griff, since Prince passed away, I typed in, I said, you know what, I'm going to have to talk to Griff about the music industry. So I typed in Prince in the music industry, and let me just read, before we get into it, let me just read some of the headlines in the front page of Google, how Prince reinvented the music industry. Here's every battle Prince waged against the internet and the music industry. Prince interview. He slams music industry, tells artists don't sign contracts. How Prince rebelled against the music industry. How Prince shook up the music industry. It goes on and on. One more. Prince warns young artists, record contracts on slavery. So, it goes on and on. We can see what this man was about. And because of this, Professor Griff, there's tons of rumors. Some people call this group the Illuminati. Some people just say the government. Some people say the white man. Whatever term or word we want to use for it, people feel as though when artists are outspoken, and we're going to be talking about politics in the music industry, all types of stuff, but people feel as though when artists are outspoken, that's when what we call these quote-unquote conspiracies start to happen because they have to shut down an artist who has knowledge himself. So, Griff, to start the show out with, what do you think about all these rumors? Some people say, damn, well, a person can't die peacefully no more. Everything got to be a conspiracy. But then when you look at the track record of the music industry and these artists that stand up for themselves, it's kind of suspicious, Professor Griff. So what do you think about everything being said on the internet what is Professor Griff's take on this?
Well, I think we need to start this off in light of everything that you said. I think we need to start it off with a Prince quote. Prince said, "If you do not own your masters will own you."
Okay.
And with that Prince quote, and then the mere fact that he had to demonstrate his rebellion and his objection to how he's being handled in the music industry in reference to those that he signed a contract with, which was Warner Brothers, and he had to wear slave on his face. They took his birth name. His birth name was Prince. Wow. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just that in and of itself, Brother Rich, speaks to everything that you just said that Prince was fighting against. He did say record contracts are slavery. And so did we look into it, though? He went on the Tavis Smiley show, and he went on and he talked about, we're indentured servants, and we're all slaves. So when he went on Tavis Smiley and these other shows and he talked like that, he was talking way beyond the music industry. But back to the music. If they say that he reinvented the music, did he reinvent how the music would be heard, played, made, and dealt with in reference to those particular people that's handling black music? Let's look at the history of how they handled black music. We could ask basic questions and we could come up with some serious answers in a heartbeat, Brother Rich, to see how it would always lead, not always, but it would lead to someone or some people, the powers that be, that have invested interest in someone like Prince being successful, but being able to control Prince. It would lead us to believe that someone and someone's, like Warner Brothers, wanting to silence someone like Prince, according to what you just read. If he reinvented the industry, then he had to reinvent the whole idea of these contracts, if he was telling artists not to sign contracts. So this is very, very real. And this is not a hearsay. We don't have to speculate. We don't have to guess. This is what Prince said, and Prince has been saying this. And I think, my feeling, and this is not my opinion, but when I say I think, that means I've done the research, talked to the necessary people. So I'm saying it, up front, in bold and in person, that I think they had everything to do with the murder of Prince. I'm calling it a murder.
Wow.
Simply because if that man was healthy and did a few shows and had a party and was riding his bike in the community, everyone, including the people that came to the party, would say, this didn't look like a man that was on his deathbed. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This looked like a man that was enjoying life. So then if we look at the time, Brother Rich, the 18 years that he had fought Warner Brothers?
Yeah, something, yeah.
And then the whole idea of getting his masters back, and then, 2 years or so, the man is dead, not even able to enjoy the freedom of owning his own masters. Did not Ray Charles go through this? Did not Sam Cooke go through this?
Yeah, you're right.
Did not James Brown have an issue with this? Didn't Don Cornelius and other people have battles with people about their intellectual property? This is a very real dynamic, and people will say, well, that's really nothing to kill anybody about. Well, yes, it is. If you look at the amount of money that Prince has generated, Prince is a seven-time Grammy award-winning artist. Sold over 100 million copies of records. You mean to tell me to get a hold of his catalog would not be invaluable to someone like Warner Brothers? That they can sell music forever, especially if they cracked open that vault that he said he had with over 200,000 songs in it? Come on, Brother Rich. Everything that you read is right on point, man. And you're right. Music is a universal language. But what language do we have to speak to get those other people to understand that you're not going to enslave us yet again in the music industry? We was already enslaved. And you're going to turn around now, and now that we're making music that speaks to the human family soul, now you're going to enslave us again by, holding us to these fraudulent contracts? Come on, stop that, man. And if music is the highest form of consciousness, I wonder what kind of conscience do these people have?
Now, what do you think about the fact that they said, one of the first things that they said is that they found painkillers, Percocets, with Prince at the time of his death. I believe it was in his home. I'm not sure. But I believe they tried to do that with Michael, too, make it seem like he was a drug addict. So it appears to be a trend, but what's your take on Prince and his Percocet and, they say painkillers are addictive, you never know. What is your take on that, Professor Griff?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. If I passed away tonight and they came to my home and they did an investigation, they went through my medicine cabinet, they went through my hall closet, and they went through my personal closet in my bedroom, you'd probably find some painkillers because I had dental work done over the last year or so. I've been in a car accident. Matter of fact, last year, I was in a car accident. You probably find a whole bunch of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That doesn't speak to the fact that I'm hooked on pain medicine. People have my phone and they call me all day, every day. I talk to you once a week, twice a week. You understand what I'm saying? I see people in my comings and goings at the farmer's market and Whole Food and other places. You understand what I'm saying? People can say, well, nah, Griff doesn't look like he's hooked on pain medication. Not at all. You understand what I'm saying? So just because you find that in a person's home, that doesn't necessarily speak to the fact that he may be hooked on pain medication. If there's a silly, crazy doctor, Dr. D, I guess that's what he calls himself, parading around on the internet and basically saying that, Prince was his number one customer to the tune of $20,000 to $40,000 worth, which is sickening, simply because did they not, Brother Rich, say this about Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Did they not say this about Whitney Houston? Did they not say this about Whitney Houston's daughter? Did they not, we could go on and on and on about the people that they claim, was either on drugs, either had AIDS, or was hooked on some pain medication. If that's truly the case, Brother Richard, why aren't we investigating the people that makes the pain medication and its addictive nature? Why don't we investigate them instead of putting the blame on Prince? Didn't have one of those kind of lives where we could put the blame on Prince's depression or Prince having a bad year in music or Prince whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How do you have a damn, it's hard to figure out a beautiful soul like Prince. How the hell you have a bad day? I'm sure he had a bad day, but it ain't like my bad day or your bad day. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people listening to this and knowing that Prince was, a multi-millionaire, will say, well, damn, if the average person listening to this had that kind of money, it'd be hard to have a damn bad day. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't know according to what Sheila E. said. A lot of us perform in pain, Brother Rich. Wearing the heels that he wore and doing the moves that he did for, just the mere fact that he did, 21 concerts in a row, nonstop, and then the after parties. That's a hell of a schedule, man. You understand what I'm saying? Then to go on tour for 6 months and keep up that hectic schedule and do all that. When Prince got down, Brother Rich, and you know that. You've seen some of the concerts.
Yeah.
When James Brown got down, James Brown got down, man. When Michael Jackson got down, he put the damn work in. You know that, right or wrong?
Yeah.
And Prince took it to another level. Regardless of what kind of pain Prince was in. So I'm not buying he had the flu. I'm not buying into that, man. I'm not buying the fact that he was hooked on pain medication. I'm not buying that either. I can understand. I'm hearing reports now from some people that I know that his bodyguard carried him off the plane into the hospital. You understand what I'm saying? Into the car, into the hospital. And whatever shot they gave him, I heard it was called the SAVE shot, SAVE shot. And then shortly after that, they didn't have room in the hospital for him, so they put him back in the car and took him back to his plane. and then took him home. And I'm just saying at that point, why not call a personal physician and for somebody to keep an eye on him for the next 48 to 72 hours? That would have been my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, that's when he tweeted out the invitation for the party, which he had a party, and that's when people seen him in the neighborhood riding his bike and going to Walgreens.
Mm-hmm.
Because people, ordinary average person would think, okay, that's Prince. I've seen him before, blah, 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 blah. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He out enjoying himself riding his bike. You understand what I'm saying? No one would ever think a few hours later, 24 to 48 hours later, Prince would be dead.
Do you, we just talked about, the record companies got a lot at stake. You mentioned all the money he was making for this record company. But it seems to go beyond the record companies. And I want to, just keep it in mind, these artists and speaking out on politics or injustices within the industry or within the world, and strange things happen to them. I want to read you something real quick. Piers Morgan recently said about Beyonce, who's probably the most recognizable female artist of this era. I'm going to just read a short part of it. Beyonce then was unrecognizable from the militant activist we see now. Then she was at pains to be seen as an entertainer musician and not as a black woman who sings. Now it seems to be the complete opposite. The new Beyonce wants to be seen as a black woman political activist first and foremost, entertainer and musician second. I still think she's a wonderful singer and performer, and some of the music on Lemonade is fantastic, but I have to be honest, I preferred the old Beyonce, the less inflammatory, agitated one. Now, this is Piers Morgan. He speaks on, I believe it's CNN. He's one of the journalists on CNN. It seems people get agitated. People get upset, Griff. I mean, it goes beyond the record labels. People start thinking about the top of the government don't like this shit here, Griff. So with what I just read to you from Piers Morgan and your history of these artists that are, they said Tupac had the album The Don Illuminati, and he was going to expose the Illuminati. Well, with all this in mind, how do you think the government feels about moves that Beyonce may make, moves Prince may make, moves Michael Jackson made? Do you think it goes to the top of the government and it's much bigger than these record labels?
Oh, of course. There are a few actors. I can't really name them off the top of my head, and as I answer your question, if they come to mind, I'll see if I can remember them. But in the book, The FBI's War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leadership, John Patash went into the FBI files, and he made mention to the fact that they was dogging Tupac's trail simply because they said that Tupac was one of those kind of individuals that had that kind of personality that they recognized that can incite the masses of black people to lean towards a certain political party or just rise up. You understand what I'm saying? Rise up and take on the government and speak truth to power. Tupac was one of those individuals. Do you understand what I'm saying? The same thing with James Brown. When the government came to him, the local government came to James Brown to ask him to help quell and stop the riots, James Brown said, shit, I can't stop something I ain't start. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Sign the Family Stone. What other groups that was out there? There's a few groups that was out there. Bono from U2, doing work in Africa and around the globe and other places, often having to come and sit before not only members of Congress and these different legislative branches of government and speaking to politicians to let them know what's going on around the globe to bring them up to speed. These kind of people they consider dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? Louis Armstrong, they felt was a threat. There was a few artists that are out there they looked at as a threat. John Lennon, they looked at as a threat. Of course, Public Enemy, NWA, and quiet as it's kept, and I'm not sure how people are going to take me saying this, but Lauryn Hill was a threat to them. They made the move on Lauryn Hill at a very strategic time, and the time that they moved on Lauryn Hill, they had already perfected and downloaded the Diva program. It didn't work with Little Kim, but then the Diva program was remixed and revamped, and now the Diva program was downloaded, and it worked with Nicki Minaj. And at the same time, they had to incarcerate Lauryn Hill to make sure the Diva program worked, and Nicki Minaj had a free reign. And nobody could challenge her, not for that space, but just for the mere fact there was a beautiful, talented black woman on the scene saying what Lauryn Hill was saying and doing what Lauryn Hill was doing. So, of course, Brother Rich, they look at, because I believe it was the Chinese arts culture and art movement, as far as the poets are concerned, that they gave, that rose up and had the power, and that spoke to the people through the poetry, through the plays, and through the art in China that educated the masses of the people. So it is with those of us that are rising to the occasion to speak truth to power. You've got to take your hat off to people like Kendrick Lamar. You have to. Right. Some people say, well, he hasn't been in the game long enough and he hasn't done blah, blah, blah. Regardless of how long he's been in the game and what he's done, he's doing the damn thing. Now, let me speak directly to this Piers Morgan idiot character and Beyonce. We have to be able to look at someone like Beyonce and not keep Beyonce trapped into that negative spiral, that negative vibrational box that people want to put her in. What if we just took a step back, Brother Rich, and we allowed Beyonce to grow into the woman that Creator designed Beyonce to become or to be? What if Beyonce is growing, and this is what we're seeing her in her growth? What the hell is he talking about? He preferred the old Beyonce. He preferred a slave. He preferred, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This is why white people say they follow Donald Trump's thinking. We want our country back. We want America the way it used to be. Yeah, you want Negroes kowtowing down to you and not knowing the damn thing. Beyonce's been on this planet long enough to know exactly what the fuck is going on this planet. And because she's mentioning a few things, white people are getting scared. What if this was a growing Beyonce? What if this was a grown Beyonce? What if she put that old Beyonce to bed? Revolution is complete, constructive, conscious, cosmic change. What if Beyonce is changing and becoming the Beyonce that she's ultimately going to become? What are the Piers Morgans of the world going to say? And the rest of the white folks are going to say? You understand what I'm saying? We have to allow Beyonce to be Beyonce and grow into the woman that she's going to be. Hell, what you preferring? I prefer the old Public Enemy. You want us to come and all you want to hear in the concert is 911 is a joke and fight the power? What about the last 2 albums we dropped? You don't want to hear none of that material? Don't come to the fucking concert then. Or you want to hear some old-ass damn songs. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what it is? They can't deal with an ever-growing and ever-evolving people. But because people are ever-growing and ever-evolving, they want to keep you in that box that they want to put you in, because in that box, that's where they can control Beyonce. Well, and Beyonce is becoming her own woman. I'm sorry, go on.
No, just quick question, based on what you just said. From the black perspective, why do you think it's easier for blacks to accept the fact that Malcolm was a pimp in his life? He made the transition, got knowledge of self, and they can accept that. They said, he got knowledge of self. He became pro-black or whatever term they want to use, and they accept that. They remember Brother Malcolm. But it's quite easy for a person to accept, like you say, if a sister like Beyonce is making her transition into consciousness, they can't accept the fact that people evolve or people grow. So why is it easy for them to accept it with a character or individual like Malcolm, but not an individual like Beyonce?
I think simply because we would rather deal with someone in their lower state because it's easier to deal with them. Like you and I often talk about, why is it so easy to deal with a Malcolm now that he's passed away? You understand what I'm saying? Right. I think simply because you don't have to contend with that person answering back, firing back, and growing and growing and able to reach their full potential. If we allow them to reach their full potential, they would rather Cassius Clay as opposed to Muhammad Ali. Right. Wouldn't you think?
Right. Okay. Right.
The loud talking dude that was in the gym that talked too much stuff, really hoping that he lose, but he beating the hell out of every damn body. And then when he got knowledge of self and was able to back up some of the stuff that he was talking, and he was friends with people like Malcolm X, then he became a problem, a serious problem. Then that's when they send the big dogs after you, the IRS and all the other alphabet boys. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is what they do, and they had a history of doing this, brother. This is nothing new. It's nothing new. And I don't want Beyonce to ever think that they're not coming. If she get too grown, so to speak, they coming. Trust and believe they coming. Look what they doing to Cat Williams. Cat Williams looks like a totally different person. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Acting reckless the way he's acting and conducting himself. Getting into a fight with a damn 17-year-old. Doing and saying some of the things that he's doing, just real erratic. You know what that reminds me of, Brother Rich?
What?
Manchurian Candidate, Mind Control.
Interesting.
That's what that reminds me of.
Interesting. Wow.
All of a sudden, you know, the security around you, and they want you to go to the right, and you making crazy, stupid moves to the left, and end up getting into a fight with a 17-year-old, doing crazy stuff. It almost seems, Brother Rich, that they are turning that switch on and off with Cat Williams.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you really listen to the rhetoric surrounding Prince, a few people I've heard say so far, you know something? Every one of us need people around us that really, truly love and care about us.
Indeed. Yeah.
Because as soon as you reach a certain level, people come around you and want to use you and take advantage of you and all that kind of stuff. And there's always some sociopaths out there looking to take advantage of somebody. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think Prince was smart enough to keep some people around him that truly loved him. Because if he didn't, they wouldn't have checked on him the next day to even find him in the elevator.
Now what do you think about Professor Griff? What do you think about these rumors circling all over the internet? It's something else that's on the front page of Google. They're saying that Prince was an Illuminati ritual sacrifice. He died on the Queen of England's birthday. Now, we've heard for years about how they make sacrifices and, you know, all the stuff about blood, and this is how they live to be long. This is how they live to be live a long lifetime or whatever, by drinking blood and eating people and all this other stuff. So, do you think there's any validity to, you know, this Queen of England sacrifice and Prince being involved in that?
No, I don't think there's any validity to it, but there is validity to the rituals, Brother Rich. Now, whether Prince fit that quote-unquote criteria, I don't think so. It doesn't, that's not the handwriting that I'm reading that's on the wall, Brother Rich. And I've heard crazy, outlandish stuff. Vanity died at 57, Prince died at 57. And they did the math, and they came up with the fact that they did the numerology, and they read the stars, and he died on the Queen's birthday. At the same time, they released a film called The Holograph for the King, and all this kind of stuff. These conspiracy theories. You understand what I'm saying? And then they went into the whole science of the synagogue of Satan, and blah, 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 and tied it to the Warner Brothers, and went into the name Warner, and the Brotherhood, and I'm, come on. It just doesn't fit it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Prince did, though, start talking about the government. He started talking about the agenda. I don't know if he was referencing the Agenda 21, but he started talking about the depopulation programs and this kind of thing. He started talking about chemtrails and other things. And this may be the reason why we're getting, everyone is referring back to the TMZ. Everyone's referring back to the TMZ story, as though TMZ was a designated people to cover this Prince thing. And why were they on the scene so quick any old goddamn way? Yeah. This is what I'm asking. How did TMZ report this so quick? So I'm looking at it now, and I'm just saying to myself, okay, when I read statements like Prince told the people, wait a few days before you waste your prayers, or any prayers on me. What did he mean by that? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? What did he mean by that? And then another statement that I keep hearing over and over, he chose the place where he built Paisley Park Studio because he said it's cold enough to keep the bad people out. I'm like, what did he mean by that? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the real eerie Instagram post that he put up, where he said, just when you thought it was safe, then the next day he's dead. And then they took the post down. Instagram would want to keep that up, right or wrong. If you're investigating some entertainer's mysterious death, you would want to keep that up. So then I'm seeing now all of the pictures with him covering one eye now. You ever notice that it's coming out now?
Right, yeah.
And I'm seeing all the period of time where they talked about Warner Brothers having artists and entertainers run around their studios naked, and then they'll show you a picture of Prince on the album cover naked. And I'm like, wow, okay. This is how they're spinning this story. This is critical, man. Now, critical. So no, I'm sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, in the beginning we mentioned, I read the Google, the headlines, and every one of them talked about how he fought against the music industry. But before he passed away, he licensed his music to stream exclusively through Tidal. Now, everybody knows Tidal as Jay-Z being the spokesperson for Tidal. What do you think Prince seen in Tidal where he said that he trusts Tidal much? He took his music off Apple or Spotify, but for some reason he ran with Tidal. So what do you think about that move he made there?
I think that was a business move that he had made because maybe he's seen something down the road. We have to understand something. A lot of people would give Jay-Z, not Beyonce, but Jay-Z credit for something that I think Jay-Z doesn't know really the ins and outs. If you really look into that Tidal thing, Jay-Z is being sued, not only by his own artists, but he's being sued, and I think Jay-Z might be suing them. Wouldn't it be ironic now that Tidal explodes and blows up because of Prince's death? Because, listen, I just read today that because of Prince's death, he sold over $2.3 million
in 3 days. In 3 days. Yeah. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, you and I need to ask a very critical question right now, Brother Rich, so the people can hear it. They said in the movie, Miles Davis's movie, Miles Ahead, and I heard it with my own ears. I'm going to purchase the DVD so I can go back over it and study it. They said that Miles would be better and more valuable to us dead than alive.
Wow.
Is that the case with Prince, and should we look at it that way? He's fought these people for years, man. You understand what I'm saying? For years he's fought these people. Why now turn around and jump right back into bed with them? Maybe it was something about Jay-Z that he trusts. I'm not sure. But Jay-Z bought into that company. That's not something Jay-Z started. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do the research. Let's do the research. What's going on with Tidal? Who's suing Jay-Z? Who is Jay-Z suing? Why the artist disgruntled on Jay-Z's label and disgruntled with Tidal? What's happening with Tidal? Why is it so expensive? And then why would Prince make a move to move his catalog and move his music over to Tidal? Why would Prince, Brother Rich, why would Prince say he threatened people, not only Warner Brothers, with other people, and threatened other people with, before they get his music, he will burn the goddamn studio and the vault down with the music inside of it? Why did he say that? You understand what I'm saying? Why would a man keep 200,000 songs to himself? Simply because he wanted to exercise freedom. He wanted to be free to be the artist that he wanted to be and express himself through his music. Not with these fraudulent contracts, man. Putting out music when they say put out music. Hell no. Like telling the bird when to fucking chirp. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The bird sings a song when the bird feels like singing a goddamn song. Plain and simple.
Now, I know you got the opportunity to talk to Prince personally. So, pretty much everybody interviewed, were able to speak from an outside perspective by just listening to his music. But what was your personal conversations, if you would like to share that, with Prince, like Professor Griff?
Well, one of the conversations that I felt real comfortable with sharing with the audiences that I spoke in front of and letting them know that I did have a conversation with Prince. I was in the studio in Atlanta, and Chuck, it's actually the Public Enemy studio. Chuck came by and says, "Yo, man, Prince is in town. You want to go?" So me, Sean Carter, and Chuck D, we went to the concert. We enjoyed ourselves, whatever. And Prince invited us to come to the after set. We went to the after set, and then he invited us on stage. And that night, I think it was Thanksgiving in Atlanta. So Prince was on stage, going in, man, on the Native Americans, and he was going in on how the Native Americans was treated and what this Thanksgiving thing was about. And then, true to form, man, he just put the mic on the stands, man, and threw up a peace sign and walked away, man, and kind of gave me the nod. So I grabbed the microphone and talking to the audience, man, about Thanksgiving. And I didn't want to get too deep because I'm realizing I'm at a Prince after set. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't want to, just kind of dampen the mood. So I just said my little piece and hung the microphone up back on the stand and went backstage, and we was having a conversation. We were mainly talking about the whole idea of holidays, the whole idea of why we have to kind of always pay homage to people that have stolen history and not made history. That was my conversation with Prince. We talked about holidays. We talked about Thanksgiving. We didn't really get into the whole idea of the music thing because we were there on the same page. With me, him, Chuck, and Sean Carter was standing in that cypher backstage. No one bothered us. We stood there for a minute having a conversation. And it was mainly about Thanksgiving. It was mainly about the holidays. But in that conversation, it proves to me that this is just not a musician making music, man. You understand what I'm saying? This brother is well aware of what's going on in the world. Right now, it may not have been reflecting in the music to the degree that that I would like for it to have been in reference to the genre, which was pop, and a lot of the music he was putting out too was pop. But he laid some stuff out there. He talked about some things in 1999. He talked about some things in Signs of the Time. There's a song that I played on my show last night, and I'll send it to you, brother. It's just called One Song. It was one of those songs out of the vault, an 8-minute song. He talked 6 minutes of the song. He just talked, and he laid out some metaphysical stuff. See, that's the Prince that they don't talk about. And after I listened to that, when Jason Orr sent it to me, I just said, wow, this ain't got nothing to do with no Jehovah's Witness stuff. You understand what I'm saying? That was way beyond what Jehovah's Witnesses can handle. He was dropping some metaphysical stuff, man. He talked about how we blur the lines between humans and gods. Deep, man. The song is called One Song. I'll send it to you.
No, definitely.
And I asked Jason Orr to play it May 21st in Atlanta at the Funk Jazz Cafe. May 21st, the Funk Jazz Cafe in Atlanta. We're going to pay tribute to Prince, man. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to play that 8-minute piece by Prince. And people need to hear it.
Now, just taking into account everything you just said in that song that Prince was talking about metaphysical information, I also seen a video. David Icke actually did a video about Prince, a tribute video. It wasn't even about conspiracy theory. It was just him talking about Prince and spirituality. It was kind of cool, actually. And he said he got an opportunity to meet Prince at a concert. He met with him backstage, and Prince told him how he was into his books. Prince also tweeted artists about the documentary series from Tariq Nasheed, Hidden Colors. He was telling people that they got to check it out. Their lives will never be the same. But saying all this to say, he was still a Jehovah's Witness. So saying that, Professor Griff, I mean, people talk a lot of shit about people and religions once you get conscious. I mean, we call them dead, all types of sheep, all types of slaves, all types of stuff. Do you think? Because I also know a brother who's a Jehovah's Witness who in the past bought DVDs from me, got knowledge himself. So with that being said, do you think we don't give people that they may have knowledge of stuff, but they choose to remain with a religion? Do you think that we don't give them enough credit, that we take them for granted? We just act like they're idiots and that they don't know no better just because they belong to a religion?
Well, that's a contradiction, Brother Rich. You cannot have knowledge of something and be a Jehovah's Witness. Witness. I'm sorry. That's a contradiction. Once you get knowledge itself simply meaning that you have knowledge of not only yourself but your enemy. You know what I'm saying? I think we keep forgetting that part. To know self is to know God. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. God has an adversary, the devil. God has children, but shit, the devil got children too, Brother Rich. Mm-hmm. So to know self, we have to know your enemy. Know thy enemy is what Rage Against the Machine said. So of course we got to know the enemy. And if we went into the history of the Jehovah's Witnesses, we will find Charles Taz Russell and Rutherford and the rest of them cats dipping and dabbing into satanic rituals in the occult. All right, the Masonic Order, the Freemasons. So come on, man. Once you get knowledge of self, you rid yourself of these kind of occultic, kind of demonic, kind of cults that they set up masquerading as religion. Why do we need that when you got a knowledge of self? You understand what I'm saying? As though supreme wisdom is not enough. As though what our brothers and sisters and our ancestors gave us via ancient Kemet and what they gave us through the Dogon, what they gave us is not good enough. Brother Rich, come on. Once I got knowledge of self, I didn't need to do anything else in this religion that my mom had me grow up in, which was the Baptist religion. Come on, stop that, man. As far as Christianity is concerned, me growing up as a Baptist, I didn't need that anymore. Stop that, man. Here, you own a damn cookie factory, but yet every now and then you go put on your goddamn Boy Scout uniform on, you go door to door selling fucking Girl Scout cookies. You don't need that anymore. You got knowledge of self, man. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What would you need to be a Jehovah's Witness for if you got knowledge of self? What would you need to be a pig-eating goddamn Christian for if you got knowledge of self? What would you need that for? Well, I'm talking knowledge itself. I'm talking about 360 degrees of it, man, not 180. So we need to understand what having knowledge of self is. Someone asked me the other day, well, is knowledge of self, is that the same thing as being conscious? You understand what I'm saying? And we have to understand what the difference is. We're just knowing a few facts and espousing a few things to get likes on Facebook. You understand what I'm saying? To get numbers, to build your numbers. You understand what I'm saying? And what it is to truly have a knowledge of self and to truly be conscious. Some people say to me, well, oh, man, I want you to meet this brother. He's so intelligent and blah, 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 and whatever. And this dude is putting pictures up on Instagram with dildos and all this other kind of stuff. So stop that. That brother's not intelligent. That's not an intelligent act. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? How are you measuring intelligence? How are you calling yourself conscious and we watch your ways and actions, and your ways and actions is that of a savage, as Brand Nubian taught us? You understand what I'm saying? Come on. No. When someone tell me they're conscious and they have knowledge of self, I watch their actions, Brother Rich. And that determines whether or not you have knowledge of self and you're conscious. Your religion and your spirituality is not what you talk and what you say, is what you do. Am I right or wrong?
Indeed.
I'm trying not to say, are you following me? But anyway, go ahead.
Now, people often want, when they see celebrities like Jay-Z or Prince or Beyonce or whoever, these singers and these entertainers, they want them to understand the problems that the masses have, the problems we might have in the hood, or what we might go through that they may not go through because they may belong to a certain income bracket. Do you think that understanding should be the same when it's the reverse, when it's the millionaires who want us to understand what they're going through, but they might be a millionaire, but they still getting ripped off for millions by the record companies, but an average person who makes, let's say, $12 an hour is like, man, fuck Prince. Nigga got, man, he has an estate. He got millions of dollars, man. Fuck all that shit. So the average person may not care with what Prince was fighting or care about what the other artists you mentioned earlier went through, because they're like, man, they're famous, they're millionaires, fuck them, who cares? Do you think we should be more sympathetic to what these millionaires go through?
I think millionaires are humans too, man. Millionaires are human beings. Of course we should be. We should be empathetic and sympathetic. And that's I've experienced some things which made me know that, okay, wow, some of these people really do care. I grew up with Eddie Murphy, all right? When I found out through some close friends of mine, as a matter of fact, I can tell you his name, man. You know, Pop Diesel, one of the S1Ws.
Right.
He's one of Eddie Murphy's friends. Pop came and told me, he says, man, it brought tears to my eyes to know that Eddie Murphy was out up in Harlem, up on 125th Street, and in several places in New York, just giving $100 bills away to people because it was the holidays. You understand what I'm saying? So they care. They may have an issue with how to go about giving back. You understand? And a lot of times it doesn't always need to be put on the news. You understand what I'm saying? Why would you want to put it on? Why would T.I. or any of these guys want to put on the news that they pulled a truck up in the hood and was giving away turkeys for Thanksgiving? Okay, fine. If you're doing good deeds, you're doing good deeds. Prince was one of those kind of individuals where he did not want people to know the good deeds that he was doing for people, especially in the hood. Millions and millions of dollars. I read certain news sources that a lot of people that got solar panels in certain parts of the West Coast, it was due to Prince giving up money away and providing this kind of service for people. I heard that concerts that Prince was doing in certain cities like Baltimore and other places, he only used that to get into the city to meet with some of the leaders so he can affect change behind the scenes because he didn't want to broadcast. That's the real work, Brother Rich. Why we got to broadcast everything? You understand what I'm saying? I had an incident recently where I was getting letters from the prisons because I started a program where I was trying to get my book, Psychological Covert War, into the prisons, and they was rejecting it. You understand what I'm saying? That's not something I wanted to tell everybody. I didn't run and call you. You understand what I'm saying? We need to say this, man, on this interview, Brother Rich. Look what's happening to me. You understand? I didn't do that. I did the work quietly. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's not something that I want to put in my bio or something I want to put on Facebook or YouTube. I'm doing the work quietly that I know how to do, uplifting people. A lot of times, these people that talk loud, they ain't really did a damn thing. They do photo ops, Brother Rich. They'll do one thing out of the damn month, but they'll make sure they take a lot of pictures and put it up on Facebook like they doing the damn work. These people are not fooling anyone. Come do the real work, man. Come among the people. How dare you have a lecture, and then when people want to shake your hand, hug you, talk to you, take a picture with you, you skirting out the back door because you really don't want to be among the people. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is very real. So millionaires are humans too, man. They have feelings. They have ups and downs. They may handle it different than we handle it. They may give in a different way. They may support people in a different way. They have to be guarded because we know the greedy nature in what they call the 7 deadly sins. They know human nature, like we all know it. We all know right now if Brother Rich and Professor Griff stumbled across $100 million, right? We know family members will come out of the woodwork. Family members we didn't even goddamn know, right or wrong. We have some new friends and some whatever. Come on, man. Some people back in high school be like, yo, remember that time I lent you? Come on, bro. Come on. So, yeah, we have to be very cognizant of the fact that they have to live a different kind of life. Mm-hmm. If I ran across 100 million, of course I'd probably have to move. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just for the mere fact that somebody might think, oh, damn, he got 100 million. He probably got $1 million in his pocket right now. Something stupid like that, man. Come on. Right. Yeah.
Now, so I got one more question, Professor Griff. Good talk about Prince. Real good talk. Just us talking about, you talked about the FBI war on Tupac. We talked about Prince. You talked about other artists in the past as well. considering taking all this into account, do you blame these new artists that's like, man, I ain't speaking out against that shit, man, that social injustice shit, man, that pro-black shit? Do you blame them for taking a backseat to that? You know, Public Enemy is very vocal. I mean, it's Fight Part changed the culture. Some people feel like, man, it's just not working now because they feel as though they learned from the past artists what not to do in order to, like we say, take care of their family. So they feel as though in order to be successful and take care of their family, they can't go the route Michael Jackson was speaking out, or Prince went, or Tupac went, or whoever went. Do you have some type of understanding to that logic, or do you think that's ass backwards thinking?
No, I truly understand. I truly understand that logic. But the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you knew better, you would do better. They have had example after example after example in every genre of music, Brother Rich, to serve as a guide and to be strategic in what they can say and what they feel that they shouldn't say. I'm not putting a cap on that. What happens, though, Brother Rich? Can I ask you this? What happens when the flip side happens? When those artists, the same artists that we're talking about now, do they ever think, well, wow, I can't get that vulgar, I can't get that raunchy, I can't use those curse words, I can't, bump and grind on stage, I can't have that kind of video. Do they ever think like that, Brother Rich?
Good
and the
point.
things that they shouldn't do? You understand what I'm saying? But when it comes to taking a stand, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to say this loud and clear so everybody listening to this can hear this, Brother Rich. In a few days, Brother Rich, they may be forced to do it. Simply because they may not have another choice, Brother Rich. You better speak up or die, because the people are going to demand that you say something. Because after 2016, when all the smoke is cleared, and they select the president that they're going to select, black people are going to start catching hell, and we're going to look to not only the artists, but the so-called leaders to speak up and say something. And you ain't going to be able to hide now this time. You understand what I'm saying? I think the people are going to rise up, and they're going to demand these people to say something, or you're not even going to be able to take to the stage. Remember back in the day when Public Enemy was in its heyday, and then Brand Nubian and Poor Righteous Teachers and Queen Latifah and KRS-One, and the positive vibrations was in the music? You had to say something conscious.
Yeah. You
had to say something positive, right or wrong.
Yeah.
You had to take off that fake-ass Dookie gold chain and put on an African medallion. You better do something. Wear fucking dashiki on stage, bring some African dancing, some fucking elephants, some lions or some shit. You better do something. Busta Rhymes had a fucking elephant in his video. You better do something to let the people know that you got some consciousness. Else, because the people are going to demand it. You understand what I'm saying? And let me say something else. We talked about the Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone sent me something very interesting. They said, will we able to spend that $20 bill in the concentration camps that they're going to put us in? That's very real, Brother Rich. We're vastly moving towards a time where they're going to phase out this money. You understand what I'm saying? And by the time 2020 roll around, we may not even be using this currency, but we may be behind the damn fence somewhere, Brother Rich, trying to spend a $20 bill that it won't spend. Them conscious rappers, them so-called rappers that are coming up today, they better start keeping their finger on the pulse of these politics and what's going on with their people so they can speak to this. Or they're not going to have a platform to speak at all, because the people are going to demand that they say something or get the hell off the goddamn stage. Plain and simple. So, Prince's remaining family members, half brothers, full blood sister, and half siblings, have given permission to the Bremer Trust to take control of Prince's estate, and those are the people that's going to call the shots for the next 6 months in reference to the vast estate that Prince left. Listen, when you sell 100 million albums and you go on concert tour after concert tour after concert tour, in 10 years raking in over $225 million in just ticket sales, not to mention royalties. Come on, Brother Rich. That's a lot of money. Then the fact that he owned apartment complexes and this kind of stuff, man, Brother Rich.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's a group of them working with a trust, so not one person is making a foolish decision. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, Warner Brothers is going to come back after that goddamn catalog. Trust me. You know I'm telling the truth, Brother Rich.
Yeah.
Sony killed Mike, and the Warner Brothers killed Prince.
Well, on that note, Professor Griff, I want you to leave your info. As always, let the people know what you got coming up, what they can look out for. Let them know everything, brother.
Well, this weekend, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of being in New Orleans. And I'm going to be rolling with this husband and wife team, man. They call that thing the Abney Effect, man. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to be at the community bookstore putting it down so people can look me up there on Saturday. Later on that night, I'm actually doing a lecture, Brother Rich, with some jazz musicians that's going to be getting down while I'm doing the lecture on stage. You understand what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing about that, Brother Rich, all the musicians are invited. It's an impromptu kind of thing. I'm going to set the tempo, and they just going to follow along and just get down while I'm doing the lecture. I'm talking about music and the media mind control of the masses. And, of course, I got to talk musicology. I got to talk Michael Jackson. You understand what I'm saying? I got to talk about the madness that's going on. I got to talk about James Brown, Don Cornelius, Sam Cooke. You understand what I'm saying? So the Abney Effect, Professor Griff in New Orleans this Saturday. People can call me 678-557-2919. But Saturday, April 30th, 6:30 to 9:30. That's 2523 Bayou Road, New Orleans, Louisiana. Professor Griff is going to be at the bookstore getting down, and then later on, these brothers and sisters rented a mansion for us to get down and do this Abney Effect, man, with these musicians. So I'm looking forward to it, man. We're doing that so I can record it so we can get some rare vinyl out of this, man. We're going to put some vinyl out, Brother Rich.
Oh, man. Okay.
Right. So, so shout out to the people in Dallas. Dallas was off the chain, man. Dallas showed up and showed the hell out, Brother Rich. Myself, David Banner tore the house down. Professor Smalls and Baruti did the elder thing, and they did it marvelously and intelligently, like elder statesmen. You understand what I'm saying? And they laid it out. And, of course, Professor Griff. So yeah, Brother Rich. So I'm definitely looking forward to this Saturday because it's definitely something different. And of course, I want people to support the Artifactual movie. Go to www.gofundme.com/artifactual and help support the movie that we're putting together. The team that Khaled put together in order to produce this movie dealing with the 7,000 artifacts that he's collected over the last 25 years. Artifactual, the movie, in 2017. All right? But my phone number is 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919. You can email me at seriousmindsinfo@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook at Serious Minds on Facebook and Kavan Shah on Facebook. My Twitter handle is Serious Minds or just Professor Griff. And my Instagram is Serious Minds. I want to leave, Brother Rich, as I opened up with the quote from Prince. He says, if you do not own your masters, your master will own you. And that's real. This is why Millennium Music Media is so important, because we're giving power back to the artists to control their own masters and control their own publishing. And Millennium is launching in June, and they need to look up Millennium 5 or the Millennium Music Media Group. All right? With that said, Brother Rich, I really appreciate you, man.
Indeed, man. Another great interview, another great week. This Brother Rich, Underground Railroad Radio with Professor Griff, Serious Minds Radio. We signing out, family. We going to see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, family. This is Brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figured since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for 1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.